What if one artist could turn an outlaw into a national icon? Today, we explore how Sidney Nolan's bold vision transformed Ned Kelly into one of the most powerful symbols in art history. Sir Sidney Robert Nolan, born on the 22nd of April, 1917, and passing away on the 28th of November, 1992, was an Australian painter, printmaker, and set designer. He's, widely regarded as one of the most important artists of the 20th century in Australia. He is best known for his iconic series of paintings depicting the Australian outlaw Ned Kelly, works that have, honestly, become central to Australia's cultural identity and modern art history. Nolan's career spanned more than 5 decades, during which he produced an extensive body of work exploring Australian history, landscape, mythology, and universal human themes. Sidney Nolan was born on 22nd April 1917 in Carlton, Melbourne, to Dora and Sidney Nolan Sr., both of whom were working-class Irish immigrants. His father was a tram conductor and later a policeman, while his mother worked in various manual occupations. Nolan grew up in the Melbourne suburb of St Kilda, an area that would later influence his sense of place and identity. Nolan showed artistic talent from a young age and attended Prahran Technical College and later the National Gallery of Victoria Art School, though he did not complete formal training. Largely self-taught, he was influenced by European modernism through books and reproductions, rather than direct academic instruction. His early exposure to literature, philosophy, and art theory played a crucial role in shaping his intellectual and artistic development. During the late 1930s and early 1940s, Nolan became associated with the Haida Circle, a group of modernist artists, writers, and intellectuals based around Haida, a property owned by art patrons John and Sunday Reid near Melbourne. The Reids played a significant role in supporting Nolan, both financially and intellectually. They really encouraged his experimentation and artistic independence. At Haida, Nolan developed a distinctive visual language, characterized by bold forms, simplified figures, and, an expressive use of color. He worked with unconventional materials, including ripple-in enamel paint, which allowed for flat, vivid surfaces and, honestly, rapid execution. These technical choices became a defining feature of his style. Between 1946 and 1947, Nolan created the first and, honestly, the most famous of his Ned Kelly series, a group of paintings that reimagined the 19th century bushranger as a mythic and symbolic figure. Rather than focusing on historical accuracy, Nolan presented Kelly as a black, helmeted silhouette set against these vast Australian landscapes. The Ned Kelly paintings explored themes of rebellion, injustice, authority, and, identity. Kelly's helmet, often depicted as a stark black square with a slit for eyes, became one of the most recognizable images in Australian art. Through this series, Nolan transformed Kelly from a historical outlaw into a universal symbol of resistance and human struggle. The series was initially controversial, but later came to be regarded as a defining moment in Australian modernism. So, many of the original works are now housed in major institutions, including the National Gallery of Australia. Following the success of the Ned Kelly series, Nolan continued to explore Australian history and mythology. He produced major series on subjects such as Burke and Wills, Mrs. Fraser, Eliza Fraser, Gallipoli, and the Outback, often blending historical narratives with psychological and symbolic interpretations. So in 1953, Nolan left Australia and settled in Europe, spending time in London and, other parts of the continent as well. His move really marked a shift toward a more international outlook, though honestly, Australian themes remained central to his work. Nolan gained increasing recognition in Europe and the United States, exhibiting widely and, establishing himself as a major figure in modern art. He also worked as a stage and costume designer for ballet and opera, collaborating with some pretty prominent companies and choreographers. So Nolan's art is really characterized by its narrative quality, emotional intensity, and that powerful symbolic imagery he uses. His landscapes, are often simplified and expansive, putting the focus on psychological space rather than just realistic detail. He frequently combined literary, historical, and mythological references, often drawing inspiration from writers like William Blake, Arthur Rimbaud, and Franz Kafka. Despite stylistic changes throughout his career, Nolan maintained a commitment to experimentation and personal vision. His prolific output included thousands of paintings, drawings, prints, and works on paper, reflecting both discipline and spontaneity. Nolan's personal life was complex and sometimes controversial. He married several times and had a son. His relationship with John and Sunday Reed ended acrimoniously, particularly after he left Haida and took many of the Ned Kelly paintings with him. This episode has been widely discussed in Australian art history as a turning point in his career. In later life, Nolan was known for his reclusive tendencies, though he remained intellectually active and deeply engaged with art and literature. Nolan received numerous honours throughout his lifetime. In 1981, he was knighted in the United Kingdom for his contributions to art. His works are held in major public and private collections worldwide, including the Tate Gallery in London, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and leading Australian institutions. Sidney Nolan's legacy, honestly, lies in his ability to articulate a distinctly Australian vision while, engaging with these universal human themes. His reinterpretation of national history and myth really helped shape modern Australian cultural identity and, influenced generations of artists. Today, Nolan is remembered as a pioneering modernist whose work bridged local experience and global artistic discourse, securing his place as, honestly, one of Australia's most influential and enduring artists. If stories like Sidney Nolan's inspire you, where art, history, and rebellion collide, subscribe now for more deep dives into legendary artists and the ideas that, shaped the world.